today we're doing order of operations, which most of you remember. I will call mine notes, and today is the 13th already. Instead of PEMDAS, which we're used to hearing, now that you're in a higher math, you might hear GEMDAS. Instead of a P, you use the G for grouping symbols. Grouping symbols, because you're going to run into more than just parentheses now. So the types of grouping symbols, you may see parentheses. I put them in parentheses so you know what they look like. You may see brackets. You may see braces. And finally, you may see a fraction bar, and I don't mean something simple like 1/4. I mean something like you can see in example 5. After all of those grouping symbols are gone, you will do exponents, which they don't have in here, so we'll just write it in. Let's not forget about them. We do the exponents next. And then the one step that sometimes people get it incorrectly is the multiplication and division, and then the addition and subtraction. Order of operations is only 4 steps, not 6. The third step is to multiply and or divide from left to right as you see it in the problem. You don't multiply and then do all the division. Whatever comes first. And then finally the same thing with addition and subtraction. You don't have to add before you do the subtraction. It's whatever you run into first, left to right. So it's all in the same step, meaning multiplying and dividing, and adding and subtracting. Those are in the same step together from left to right. So the multiplying and dividing is in one step, and then this. Is that clear? I think all of you remember all this. And then how to show your work. What works best most of the time is vertical alignment. And then one step per line. Excuse me. Yes, ma'am.
May I see Anaya Vines in the office, please?
Yes, ma'am. Anaya Vines. Teachers model how they want you to do the work because we know that that's how it's best done, and to help you avoid confusion, because if you jumble your work all up, that's kind of how your brain will see it, and it's just best to keep your work aligned vertically, one step at a time. I've been teaching a very long time, and I know this is some of the things that help students be more successful in the classroom. So, in problem number 1, do we have exponents? I'm sorry, do we have any grouping symbols? No. Do we have exponents? Yes. So I'm going to put like a little squiggly line so you can follow my work, see what I'm doing next. You do not have to do that in yours. So we'll recopy everything else and just take care of the exponents. So 2 to the 3rd power is 8. And then I'll rewrite the rest of the problem. We have no more exponents, so we're on to multiplication and or division. So what do we have? 8 times 2. So that'll be the next thing we do. And you just recopy everything else. What's left? Yes, just addition and subtraction. So you just now solve the problem from left to right. So this is 8, and I bring down my 5, and 8 plus 5 is 13. And it does help to circle or box in your answer so we can see where it's at. Any questions on number 1? Okay. Number 2. Grouping symbols, yes or no? Exponents. Multiplication or division? No. So you just solve it now, left to right. Because all that's left is subtraction and addition. So 5 minus 2 is 3. I'm showing all of my steps. Next we have the addition of 3 plus 9. And then you just have 12 minus 8, which is 4. That one's pretty simple, yes? Okay. Any questions? Moving on to number 3. This is where we have more of grouping symbols now. Not only do we have parentheses, we have brackets also. So you have to do everything inside the brackets, again, according to order of operations, before you deal with anything else. That has to be completely solved and evaluated. So that 35 is just going to get rewritten until we get that done. So once we go inside the brackets, what should we do first? The parentheses, the 1 plus 2. So we'll just put the brackets there. We have a 12 plus 3 times 3. Don't drop off the brackets yet. We have to solve everything inside first. Now what do we do next? Multiplication. So we have to do the 3 times 3 next. So we have 12 plus 9. And finally we can finish off the brackets. 12 plus 9 is 21. So our answer is 14. And again, I'm just showing this so you can see where my work is leading. Any questions? All right. Number 4. Do we have grouping symbols? Yes, you have to do the grouping symbols. You have to solve what's in the parentheses first before you can apply the second power. So we have 5 squared divided by 1 to the 4th power. You must get rid of the exponents before you divide at the end. So what is 5 squared? 25 divided by, now we know 1 to the 4th power is 1. So your answer is just 25. Are we good on that? Finally, this is more of the fraction bar that I was talking about when it comes to grouping symbols. You have to completely clear out the fraction before you can divide at the end. So 2 plus, what's the first thing we would do in that fraction? 9 divided by 3. So I'll just rewrite 5 minus 2, and then we have 6 plus 3. And since all we have left is subtraction and addition, we can just take care of that fraction now. So 5 minus 2 is 3. 6 plus 3 is 9. I'm going to simplify that now just because I don't want to wait to the end. So I have 2 plus, let's see, 1/3. And our final answer is 2 1/3. Any questions? Pretty straightforward. I think you're pretty used to this.